sitting on the table.
Thank you.
They're fairly launched that way. Yeah, so there's been lots of news over the week. Plenty of things have happened. I've heard you've got a parcel, mate.
I got 2 parcels, buddy.
Or even 3. I think I got 3 parcels when I got it.
So I've got 2. There's another one coming and another parcel.
Yep.
And I'm waiting on a parcel to be delivered to someone else so we can get another parcel sent.
Oh, this is crazy. So the news is thrust us out, mate.
Yeah, we've come to hang out with you now, mate, on the Fanatec or Fanatic, however you want to say it.
Yeah, I've heard it's worth about 5 seconds. So,
oh well, I'll be flying then, mate.
I was going to say you're going to go straight to like P1 on all the boards, mate. I wish I'd got to a decent pace before I swapped over.
Well, I mean, I think because Nitro, I think on the Discord said, you'll be winning and you'll be going crazy, and I'm like, settle down, mate. But then I thought, yeah, I'm skipping top split, mate. I'm going straight to infinity split.
Yeah, well, this is it, mate. I think when it arrives and you unpack it, you go straight to iRacing, I've heard. You just like 4,500 iRacing points, I think. You get that when you unpack some Fanatec stuff.
No, we're staying with console, mate. We're not I don't have a PC, mate. I don't want a PC. It's SimCaders, mate, not PC caders.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I always think about that iRacing point system. I listened to another podcast where the bloke, he's like a professional racer, and it took him, 3 or 4 months to get to 4,500 iRacing points. That doesn't actually mean anything at all to me, but it sounds pretty serious.
That's a lot of points, mate.
Yeah, I've heard you're actually pretty quick if you can get over 2,000 or 3,000. So apparently getting over 4,000 or 5,000 is quite a serious effort.
Yeah, I'm just not sure. I don't see the. I mean, it's all subjective, of course. So how can I really comment on something I haven't ever played? I'm only going by visuals. So
yeah, true.
I know Shumi's delving himself into it. I mean, it looks all right. I mean, it is what it is.
So tell us about the gear, mate. I've seen some photos floating around on the old Discord. It looks pretty sexy.
So what did we get? We got the CSL Elite F1 starter kit. So that comes with the base, the F1 wheel, and the just standard pedals. So we went that because it was readily available and in stock. And then we thought, why not? We'll get the V3 load cell pedals as well. And so we've got 2 sets of pedals.
So I'm getting a fair bit of envy here.
The wife sort of suggested, why don't you just get the good ones? So we're not going to argue with Mrs. Furby, mate.
No, that would be very dangerous.
That's pretty much what we got, mate. And we've only pulled out the V3 pedals, but when we did, mate, I mean, even that was an experience as you open the box, and it's sort of giving you these little lines of, we are top class and you are about to experience awesomeness.
Yeah, I did like that. You're definitely paying for that. I noticed when I opened my boxes, it was like there's a good percentage of retail price in this packaging because it is so just, you know what I mean? Top shelf. It's just top shelf, mate. Like when you open it, the box quality, it's like they spent way too much money on the boxes. They have way too much money on all the jazz that comes in the boxes and out of the boxes, and all the promotional material is sitting there like layered, waiting for you.
Yeah, the stickers, mate. I got excited, and I'm like, hey,
they're playing with your emotions, mate. It's unfair. They shouldn't be allowed to do that kind of thing.
And it was, it was bagged up in a nice drawstring bag, of course. So I'm pulling the pedals out. I mean, even getting them out, it was like, oh, I have bought something sort of pretty serious. Like it's pretty heavy. They're over 10 kilos. Those pedals, easy.
Yeah, that's pretty serious.
It's pretty. Yeah,
Is it
it's like we've kind of given away a baby toy and got something a bit
like would you go
real.
as far as to say it's like billet aluminium? Because mine's definitely cast aluminium. Does it look like it's been in a machine shop, machined down to size?
It probably does. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because my stuff's definitely
It's
cast. Like you can tell it's come out of a mold.
yeah. So I have. I mean, I have taken the other pedals out, of course, and um, it's not. I mean, there's still a big difference in the accelerator sort of brake, obviously, because that doesn't have the load cell on the other one, of course, which is what we were going to do. But I mean, even the ones that you're running, I think I was saying to you yesterday, like the quality of them is still like wow. Like
Yeah,
you just, I mean, you could easily just get away with that setup even without a load cell. Like the brake pedal to me feels twice as hard as the TGT ones that I'd been using, and that was with the brake mod plate in the back, which
yep.
just stops it halfway, and you just got to push it a little bit harder. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah. So since you've posted some photos, I've had a look, and it does look. I like the tweakiness of the brake, like because I have had to experiment. It took me the best part of probably 2 months to get my brake pedal set up the way that I like it, and get it to do what I wanted it to do in terms of like releasing the brakes in deep in the trail braking section. Sometimes the brakes would come off too quickly or not quickly enough, and I've had to tweak around with some settings, and I've changed some washers, and I've changed some what do you call it? Like the plastic, the hard plastic, like the durometer, the duroness or the durometer of the plastic has been
yeah,
changed so that it's
those
got the
little rubber
right amount
things.
of squeeze.
Yeah.
Um, and I've found out, or I haven't found out anything. I've noticed the faster the laps gets, the more fidelity you want right at the release of the brake. So you want to come back to from like 100% to 90 to 80. You really want to have a lot of control over that part of the braking area.
So smooth, still smooth.
Yeah. So
Well, I guess you'd call it a digression or whatever. So it's
yeah.
not. So it's not notchy.
Yeah, so as I feel like deep in the brake zone, I start to want to like get into the trail area, but I still need to be decelerating the car quickly, so I can't come off the brake too much. And so from when I first started using it, the brake was fairly similar to maybe your average front wheel drive road car. It was very spongy, it was deep, and there wasn't much like it felt good at the time, and it was good and it did help. But now, as some of the pace came off, I found that I really needed to stiffen it up and get real hard. So I've taken out sponges, I've made it really solid. I've got almost no movement in the brake pedal now. So the difference between 100% brake and 90% brake, I can feel it. And yeah, that has really helped a lot. And then seeing your pedals that had all this screw adjustable stuff, and that made me look at it. I was like, oh, I'd love to be able to like fine tune my brakes even further, because I think I've tuned mine to about as good as I'm probably going to get it. And I wonder how
Yeah.
much more I could get out of them if I could tune them even further.
So the knob, I know with the knob on the back on the brake, where the cylinder, the outside cylinder is the red sort of windy thing, being all the way in, it just gives a little bit more play when you just rest your foot on it, kind of thing. I think it's a bit softer. So there's not. I don't think there's much fine tuning on the actual unit really, because it's either all the way out or tightened up as tight as can go until you can't really tighten it anymore, because there is on the manual in there big diagrams with it with incorrect ways of using it, like you can't have it halfway kind of thing. It's got a big cross on it saying you can't do that. But I think it's obviously the same with your set. You're just using the Fanatec software to find your dead zones, which is pretty simple. If you're resting your foot on there and it's registering, you just set the minimum as so it doesn't register, and can set your maximum, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll be ringing you heaps going, oh, this is shit, what do I do, mate? I'm like,
well,
I've 10 seconds slower.
Yeah, well, I was just trying to think. I haven't done the world's most amount of fine tuning on my wheel. I've made a couple of adjustments here and there over the time, but I've generally spent most of my time trying to learn what I have before I can start making adjustments. And it leads me into another story. Now that you bought yours, I set up way too night. So there was no racing on last night, and I sat up way too late for a Saturday night.
You were up late, mate. I saw you lurking around.
Yeah, and I was laying in bed, and I don't know why or how, but I just got in this rabbit hole of looking up shift lights on my P1 wheel, because when I played El Seta Corsa, my shift light on my wheel used to work really good, and then in Gran Turismo, it just has one blue light, and I was like, I really want that shift light to work like it does in El Seta Corsa. So I went down this rabbit hole, and I found all these mods where you could make you could adjust all the shift lights, and I don't really know what I was doing, and it was late at night. But anyway, I woke up this morning thinking it was the world's greatest idea to see if I could modify my steering wheel this morning.
Oh no!
And so
what have you done?
I started downloading
what have you done?
firmware and drivers and all sorts of jizz. And I've gone and put the latest beta firmware on my wheel this morning. 2 versions into beta. Yeah. I can't even know why. I just thought it was a great idea at the time.
Is this leading to where I don't want it to lead to?
Wheel reset, so all your old settings are gone. And I sort of was reading what the new drivers were doing in the new software or firmware or whatever. Anyway, so I turn my wheel on. It's all crooked. I've got to remember how to do like recenter sets and all this other bullshit that I'm running through the settings to see if I can remember if I had everything set up correctly. So I just set it up to what I thought it used to be. And I jumped in to do a couple of hot laps on Dragon's Trail and Tsukuba. And the firmware had said it had fixed 20,000 things wrong, including the way that it interacted with Gran Turismo Sport. And it's a completely different wheel. I feel like I have to learn how to drive again. Like nothing feels the same.
Like better, in a better sense, or just not?
It could be better, but I feel like I've lost a heap of feeling. Like I feel I can't. Look, I haven't given it much time. I did probably less than 50 kilometers. But it feels like all the feedback that used to be there, that I used to know what it was doing, it feels like it's all gone. And I'm like, where's my settings gone? And I'm like, I just started frantically changing shit. And I sort of got it better, but
it's missing something, is it?
Well, it's different. Like I can feel the whole part of the steering rotation, like the way that the force feedback interacts with the game is completely different now. So I think I'm going to have to learn from ground zero. I did get within 2/100ths of a second of my Tsukuba time, but I felt like I was driving completely differently. So
It sounds like just a little bit of a tweak here and there, mate. It sounds like you're almost probably at the same.
yeah,
If not different, something a little bit different, and probably get a better feel.
yeah, I feel it's completely thrown me off though, because now I sit there and I'm like, is it? Did it change, or didn't it change? Did my mind change it? Because I was racing it last night, and now you've had 8 hours sleep, and then you try it again, so it's going to be different. Like, is it different because I thought it was different? Is it different?
Well, I mean,
Different?
the mind can do that sort of stuff, mate, because you've downloaded new drivers too.
Yep.
It's like your brain can think sometimes, all right, so it's definitely, I could feel the difference.
Well, this is what I was
maybe
thinking.
the brain's going, no, it's not, there's something wrong. There's something.
Like, this is exactly what I was saying, and I'm just like, no, because I started off on Dragon Trail. I did like probably 5 laps at Dragon Trail, and I couldn't get the Lambo to do anything that I thought I could get it to do. And I'm like, no, I grinded Tsukuba yesterday, so I should be able to drop a low 104 if I go straight there straight away. And my first 2 or 3 laps at Tsukuba were all in the 5s, and I was like, nah, this is different. It's fucked. It's gone. My pace is gone. That's it. It's over. And then I managed to do like a 4.5, and I was like, okay, it's coming. I've just got to learn. I've got to like translate whatever the difference is. And then I can't remember if I ran 1 or 2 4.0s within 50 kilometers. So I think it was even within 30 kilometers. So now I'm confused. Was it my brain, or is there actually something changed?
Yeah. Oh, I think you might be thinking too hard, mate. I think you woke up you went to bed with a good idea, and you woke up and went, yeah, let's get it done.
Yep.
Give it a couple of days, and you'll be you'll forget about it. You'll just be as long as it's turning left and right.
That's the other thing.
Your wheel is calibrating. You should be right.
That's the other thing I noticed. It has calibrate auto, so you just choose the car, and my gloves always line up with the hands. And the one time I accidentally changed that setting, my gloves didn't line up with the hands inside the steering wheel car, like inside the car on the steering wheel. That ratio was wrong. The steering wheel was turning more than I was turning it, and it was still set on auto. And so now I'm distraught. Now I'm like, how do I don't really want to roll back the drivers.
So this is on the new firmware, you say?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I didn't notice it in the 10 or 15 kilometers I did in the Lambo. And then I didn't obviously have to go out. Then I went out this morning. I ran out of time. So I haven't had another go. So I don't know if all of this is in my mind or whether it's actually a real thing. So
there is. I mean, there are a lot of extra settings, of course, with the Fanatec. I mean, I've just been watching, what's his name, Z28, and him explaining what each section sort of is and his settings. But yes, it'll be fun tweaking, I guess, to get it feeling good.
Yeah, I guess I just started to change some stuff recently too, and that never helps. That you just start to make 1 or 2 tweaks. Like what do you call it? I like to make one change and then test it extensively before I can say whether it was better or worse. Like I won't make 2 changes at once, because you never know which change is, which way you're going.
So maybe you've made too many changes, mate.
Well, when you do the firmware update, it resets the wheel, so you have to start from the beginning again.
I reckon you'll be right. I reckon you'll find a few more little tweaks, mate, and you'll be flying.
Yeah, well, it's already changed one setting. I think it's called the drift setting. Apparently that drift setting was broke inside Gran Turismo, which is why you used to have it at -5 or whatever the setting was. So that's turned on now. and they've added a new setting as well in the latest firmware. Apparently that enables the brake vibration in the brake pedal. So that would be why your
Yes.
brake pedal works.
Yes, I do believe that.
Yeah. So I read that in the software update. But yeah, now I'm all nervous. What's next week's going to bring? How long is it going to take me to relearn the new wheel? It's almost like buying a brand new wheel again.
Yeah, you'll be right, buddy.
Yeah,
What is on for next week racing anyway? We know that last week wasn't much of a I guess
it wasn't as fruitful as it should
a
have
good
been,
result
or
that you
could
were
have all
after.
been. Well, yeah, it is what it is. It's definitely demotivated me somewhat. I definitely haven't bothered putting any time in this weekend, that's for sure. But
That's what I'm here for, mate.
yeah, just got to
Get you
get back on the
motivated again.
horse. We'll get back on the
Yeah.
horse. We'll probably do a dry run on Wednesday night. Just go in dry, no practice, don't know the circuit, have a decent result, then talk ourselves into practicing again. I guess.
What is
That's generally how it goes.
what is the track again? Or Catalunya?
Barcelona. Yeah, Barcelona.
Good times. The GR3s, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah,
So
lovely.
the wicked tire murdering Lambo, all long rear steer sort of corners too, where you really need to shift the rear on the way in, and then power as soon as possible on the way out. And Lambo loves using rear tires.
I was just going to say, so your tyre wear's going to be at the rear mostly all the time, isn't it?
Yep. If I get through like 2 laps, I'll be stoked without having to pit. But that car is really becoming a really, really enjoyable car to drive. Like it was so daunting, and I don't know what you say. I was just scared of it, I guess, essentially. Like for so long, I haven't had the skill set to be able to drive a car like that. And now it's just slowly coming towards you. Like I did a couple of laps at Dragon Trail, and the first 2 or 3 laps, I was like, why can't I get this car to settle? Why is it being so like unstable in the corners?
Yeah.
And then I was just like, oh no, you've just got to it's the way you release the brake and it's the way you apply the throttle. So you just have to change your own technique. And essentially, like the very next go, I was just like, the car was just planted. I'm like, this car couldn't even go sideways if it tried, if you just change the inputs. And I found that, I don't know if you call it rewarding or whatever, but it was definitely like, it's an eye opener that every car can have such a response to the inputs.
Yeah, that's what makes the game fun, man. Like, there's definitely some cars that are harder to drive, and the MR cars are up there on the Furby doesn't like to drive them list. But mate, as long as you're having fun in it, that's the main thing. It doesn't matter what car you're driving.
True.
There's no quicker car than some other car. It always comes down to car track combo. And that's what that's the purpose of manufacturer, I think, anyway, in Gran Turismo. It's to drive what you want, what manufacturer you want to support, really, as well. So,
Yep.
not, which is the fastest manufacturer car, which I know a lot of drivers do sort of head towards, but there is no.
Yeah, you pick a car,
fastest,
you
mate.
learn how to
Just
drive it and try and thrash the pants off it.
Have some fun, but the Lambo does look like a handful. But you're definitely smashing it out some times there, mate. So
yeah, we're just got to learn how to convert some of those into some decent race times, which I think it just comes to you. Like I started driving the Lambo probably 8 to 10 weeks ago, and like just the development phase inside that that time has just been crazy. Like I remember from like Dragon Trail was round 1 this season, and I couldn't even get it around the circuit. And like my opening flying lap on this week's daily race was a 37.9 or something. Like it was my first flying lap, and like
Yeah,
that was
so that's improvement, mate.
yeah. I was just like, whoa, that's like I was just like not shocked or whatever, but I was just like, I can't believe like, and that's only 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, I could barely get that car around the circuit, and
Well, I
now
mean, I think you're handling it pretty well, mate. And I know last week, every time you have expectations, we've all got it.
yeah,
It's always a battle within yourself. It's not
it's learning
against
to
any other.
manage it, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, you gotta look back. That I mean, we've had a few races at the start of the sort of the first 5 slot of manufacturer season together, like Monza. We had a good race there, both of us. Tsukuba as well.
Yeah, not
So
every week can be your week.
and Goodwood. That's a track that we don't normally see on the on the uh, on the list for FIA, and I think it's good that they
It was good to see
throw these
Max.
tracks in here.
Yeah, it was good to see Max like school it. Like we had a conversation earlier in the week, and this was like a little giggling point when I was reviewing the race, and I came to the conclusion that Max's move wasn't an opportune move; it was a setup move. He'd set me up about 2 or 3 corners prior for that move, and you're like, "Yeah, I just spoke to him. That's what he was doing," and I was just like, like cheeky, sly, like, but that's good driving. Like that's
Oh
intelligent.
yeah,
Like that
yeah.
was so good, and I hope you haven't listened, Max, because that was like when the penny dropped when I was watching through the replays to see what was going on, and I saw that setup. I was just like, oh, that's pro. That's a pro move. Just got me out there. I was just like, how did he know I was going to go that way? How did he? But he was, you know, he yeah, it was awesome. He put me in a false sense of security that I was safe in P1 and that I could use the full track width. And yeah, as soon as I did, it was like, nah, I'm coming back up. And it was such a classy move. Like, so hats off, mate. That was awesome
Yeah, no,
driving.
he's. It's good to see Max back from. I know he had a little break, and he's back on the track again, and he can. When I do see Max on the grid, he does induce a little bit of fear sometimes.
Oh, definitely.
And especially when he is behind you.
One of the scariest blokes to race because you know that everything that comes it's calculated, it's measured, it's so good. It's so much fun. Like, yeah, shout out to Max, mate. I love racing you. It's so much fun. So,
and I mean, he's another one that I'm expecting for more speed as well. I mean, he hasn't even set up his Thrustmaster load cell pedals yet. So it's like, when he gets that going, I mean, how much faster are we going to be going there, Max? So, very, very interested to see.
Tense inbound.
Yeah. So even more induced panic on the way.
Yeah. Yeah. So next week, Barcelona. I don't even know. We don't even know what the next week's daily races are. I don't even bother looking anymore.
Yeah, I don't look, mate. I've got nothing to. I've got control, mate.
I was stoked to do at least. I can't remember if I've done 2 or 3 laps in the 103s at Tsukuba this week. But I was thinking earlier in the week that if I could run a low 4, I'd be fairly happy. The Metal Gear ran a 3.6, and I think TX3, one of the guys from TX3 has run a 3.5 now. And it's like, where do you find those 3/10s? Like, where do you stitch them together? Like, where is all that time?
It's got to be somewhere.
Yeah, from watching the replays, I'm just not using as much of the road as I should be. And it's not much. It's like less than 5 centimeters, dude. It's nothing. Like my outside of the tire is like on the inside of the white line, and their outside of their tire is on the outside of the white line when they turn in. We're talking how thick's a line on a racetrack? Like it's nothing.
And how far do you want to push past that? I guess. I mean, even though when you are hot lapping and wanting to get a good time, I still feel that there is a slight limit that can hold you back sometimes, which is your, I guess, on the edge safety limit.
Yeah.
And you can, it's like there's so many times with corners that I know that could take better, and every time you go around, you're just like, oh, come on, what? Brain, tell foot to accelerate earlier. Like the car is going to handle it.
Yeah.
And you just don't. You just don't. You're stuck in that. You're stuck in that reflex, which is.
I guess that goes back to the conversations we were having last week. Like drive fast, faster. Just don't.
Yeah, like bin it, so you know.
Yep. Yeah, if you go out and do a few safety laps, then. Yeah, I was listening to a podcast this week talking about consistency, which I know has been a topic of late. And
well, I must have been on that show. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I wish, like, I was listening to it and they were talking about, they were just talking about fast consistently. They're like, you just got to drive fast and then just stitch one fast lap together. And then it should be the second fast lap should be straight away. Like you should do the same lap time, the very next lap, just go bang, bang, bang. And then just stitch as many of those together as possible. The fastest driver is the guy that stitches the fastest laps together endlessly. And don't be afraid to just stay on the limit. Stay at 10 tenths, like lap after lap after lap. And you notice that, or like I notice that when I do sit behind guys like Metal Gear is obviously the key one because we raced him Monday night. But you can see that he's turning in from the edge of running off the track every corner. It's just like, how do you not lose it? How do you not lose it? But you just keep turning in from the white line. Make sure your tire's on the white lines before you turn in.
Yeah.
It's just like I think that takes confidence as well. Like, how do you translate your speed into confidence so that you can because I always have a nice safety margin. Like when I change from like qualifying to racing, my pace drops off quite a fair bit.
Do you think that's a little bit of probably too much pressure on yourself as well? Like,
I
know there's extreme pressure.
Yeah, well, I would like to say it's because I'm building in a safety margin, but when I think about like reading through stats, like if you go through my stats, I've got something like 200 or 250 pole positions for like 100 wins. So whereas other guys, like I was looking at Phonon's stats the other day, and he had something like 100 pole positions for 300 wins. So what does that tell you about?
So he found extra somewhere.
No, but I mean, like, that's the difference in mindset. Like, what does that tell you about the driver? And I've been thinking about it for a few days now. Like, what does that tell you about what he's thinking? Like, I think that can tell you things like he's confident. He has a confidence in driving quick, and he's not scared. I'm just going to win the race. Like, that's how it is. I'm going to put pressure on you until you make a mistake. Then when you fall off, and then when I'm in first, I'm just going to drive off into the distance. So, and I was thinking, what does that say about me? Like when I'm on pole position, like, does it give me like too much pressure, or have I created unrealistic expectations? Or, yeah, I don't know. It's still something that I'm thinking about. So,
is it the? Do you think there's the top 10 times as well, sort of expectation as well? I mean, because
really, because I know that just when it's in the stream that you guys are just giving me hassle, so that doesn't really faze me too much, and I enjoy the banter I really,
Oh, we all give each other crap. We all know that.
yeah.
I think we all poke each other
I
a
don't think
fair bit.
I wouldn't say it creates expectation, but it could. Like it could create
But I
things
mean,
that I
like,
don't
so,
think of.
I mean, like, as an example, like, so last week for Fuji, it was Fuji, wasn't it?
Oh, a couple of weeks ago it was Fuji, I think.
What was last week? Sorry,
Goodwood.
Goodwood.
So
Yeah.
it was Goodwood, Fuji, and something else.
So Goodwood top 10 times. It's Metal Gear in the Lambo, and it's you second in the Lambo too. So I mean, that's a good wankboard time to be up there. Do you think that coming into the race and then, I mean, you just pipped Maxi and that other driver for pole to get the pole position at Goodwood? So then is it like, oh shit, there's double, like I'm on pole now. I have to, there's pressure. I have to perform.
Not
People
really, because
know,
I
like
didn't.
even coming into the lobby, like people know that you're quick and are expecting you to just walk away with it.
No, well, I don't put that expectation on myself. I had no expectations of winning that race. I was a top five. Ideally, it would have been a top three for me. And if I sort of wanted to beat Xylon, but not knowing how fast he is, it didn't really worry me. Like if he raced better than me, that's fair enough.
He
It's
was
not.
pretty.
Yeah, he was
Quick in
super
the
quick.
Ferrari.
And I know Mayhem is an awesome driver, and so I'm not really too phased if he comes past me either. And I had given myself enough room that I didn't have any expectation on my own race pace because I'd focused on single lap pace for the whole week. So my race pace was always going to be off, and so like I wasn't really phased. I was more upset. I wasn't actually upset. Like more upset that I didn't consolidate the position. So when Mayhem came past, it's like, oh, that's no big deal. He's a fast driver. I can just consolidate the race, and if I just sit behind him for the whole race, this is a nice casual P2. He'll pull me away from the field. It's going to be a good race, and then with 2 or 3 laps to go, if I can still touch him, then we can probably start racing. I can start putting some heat on. Then Xylon caught me, and it was like, oh, I've put probably a little too much pressure on myself coming into this first corner. I really need to let Xylon past. I need to spend the next 2 or 3 laps focusing on turn 1 and nailing turn 1. And then once I've got turn 1 nailed, then I can refocus on getting P2 back.
Yeah.
And then if I ever get a chance, I can focus on getting P1 back. Running wide from Xylon, I knew that I was going to run out of road. I knew the grass was on the left-hand side, and I know there's a kink right at the end of that straight. And I just got caught napping. I think I was checking my radar to make sure I had room to move to the right-hand side so that I wouldn't get caught by that grass on the left-hand side. And then by the time I looked back up, it was too late. The grass was there and the race was over. And yeah, and then the late race time sort of, that's it. Sort of that's all she wrote. So that sort of upset me and pissed me off for a couple of days, but it's all water under the bridge now, and it's, yeah, I'm more focusing on the, like I said, when I saw, like, what do I have to change about my mental attitude to turn good single lap pace into, like, good race pace, and how do you approach the limitations of the way that you practice and the way that you're training into, like, decent results without, trying to keep it fun. At the end of the day, I only ever turn it on and cut laps because I'm trying to enjoy myself. So, and I really do enjoy, like, the hot lapping part of the game, and I really do like I enjoy winning, like most dudes do, but trying to balance that with the effort required to win. So,
well, I mean, it really is just a personal expectation level, really. But I mean, the key word there is, if you're not having you're not doing it for fun, just wanting to, I don't know why you would be racing if you weren't having fun.
Yeah, no, this is true.
I see a lot of angry drivers out there still, and it kind of makes me a little bit more happier. Like to think, why is it so bad? Like, I don't know. It's like the toxic chat is still there, and it doesn't need to be there. It's we're all doing the same thing. Just
No, and I think
having a bit of fun. And if you're quick, you're quick. If you're not, you're not. As long as you're still having fun, that's the main thing.
yeah, fun is the key, and it feels like we're slowly not changing the environment, but like if we, as a group of players, can focus on the enjoyment and. Like I think there's another couple of players we've met this week that just talking about enjoying yourself and just being involved in the community. It's.
I was going to say that, mate. With your Discord's been really good lately, mate. I mean, we've quite a few different people coming in, and I mean, even Metal Gear jumping on. Who else? We've had Powell, Don Fiasco.
Yep.
I'm sure there's more. Send it racing as well, and I mean, it's just everyone's there to have a laugh. And,
just keep it fun, keep it interesting, keep it social too. Like I think social is so important because we all want to share in each other's success. Like I enjoy
and failures. I mean, that's
like giving a little bit of needle.
Not saying that in a bad way, but I mean, everybody goes through the same races, mate. Like, just have shocking races, mate. I think it's how you sort of bounce back or just continue on, which makes it interesting to watch. I know it does for me because I mean, I've been doing a lot of watching lately of everybody, but it's all in good fun. You got to keep it fun, mate. The rest, what are we playing for? Yeah, you don't have to be angry at everybody, and
no, not even a little bit, mate. Like, keep it fun, keep it enjoyable. DR's not important. SR not so much.
yeah. Stop. You got to stop with the DR. Like, it should be just a personal little number. It doesn't represent how you drive. SR, I mean, if you want to know about SR, you just need to talk to Loopy Racing. He's got some wise words on, pretty sure half of those wise words have come from our mouths, and then he continues that message on through his broadcast. So cheers, Loops.
Yeah, shout out to Loopy. So how is that SR coming along, Nitro? You got that stuff sorted yet, mate?
Yeah, Nitro. We need to talk about young Nitro. Just too many taps, mate. Really, way too many taps. You need to.
Is it Kylie Minogue? Let's get physical.
Yeah, just need a little bit more awareness there, Nitro, on distancing and braking. You shouldn't be tapping and getting down to 60 something SR. I love it.
No, it's good fun, mate. It's good fun. And spend all your Saturday trying to get back to 99 SR so you can work with your friends again.
Yeah. Only for it to go up and down and down and up.
That's been good. So Fanatec is on its way. You're pumped. What's the ETA, mate? How long till you're playing again?
I'm hoping next week sometime. So Thrustmaster is currently in Queensland sorting facility, waiting to get delivered to Pagnian Imports, which will then give us some store credit for a new sim rig, as the play seat's not going to be able to support the V3 pedals, unfortunately. Too much flex.
Yeah.
So, yeah, hopefully in another week and a half, mate. In time for Showdown, at least.
Oh, that's
Showdown. Showdown number 3, mate.
Are the spots all full? I'm sure you've reserved one for me.
I'm pretty sure it's only just me and you at the moment.
There's
So
only 2 entries, mate.
medals are your medal's in the mail now, seeing as your MVP medal took all of I think 6 months to deliver from Melbourne to Auckland.
Oh, this is a long way, mate.
Yeah, no, I mean the times are tough at the moment for deliveries, so it's understandable. But I am glad that you got it, mate. So there will be more medals.
Took a little time, but now it's worth my while.
That's it, mate. Just hanging around the neck. Feel the weight.
Yeah, have you released what cars are coming?
So what do we got? We got race 1 is going to be the Copen 1 VGT.
What? Oh, no, okay, yeah, that's all right.
What?
I was thinking of something. I was thinking of a little Suzuki Copen or Daihatsu Copen. Sorry.
It is the little Daihatsu Copen.
Yeah, but you said VGT, so I'm assuming that's a touch faster.
It's a little bit faster. So that's around El Sace village.
Yeah.
And then we're getting back into the little Golf GTI for Sardinia in the dirt.
Oh, yeah. Should be a lot of fun.
And the last one is going to be FF GR4s only at Maggi Noodles.
How many FFGR4s are there? Is it just 3? TT, RCZ, and Sirocco? That's it, isn't it?
And the Renault.
Why does that never get a mention?
I don't know, because I used to drive that a lot at Bathurst on the dailies, and it was an absolute animal.
It's just gone by the wayside now.
Yeah. I think it's just, everyone's either Lambo life or TT life, mate.
Yeah.
So, so really, Showdown has been completely manufactured for Loopy Racing to win. So,
so no pressure, Loop. You know all that pressure, all that.
Giving him all the car combo tracks that could have Loopy on the podium for Showdown 3. But yeah,
wankboard pressure and stream pressure, and now podcast pressure, mate. Loops, how are you going to handle that, mate?
Probably with we know how Loops handles things, mate.
No, completely.
So, no, I'll be looking forward to that one, mate, because we do like the Showdown. It was a little bit of a wait, unfortunately. Just things got away from us there for a bit, and we were just waiting on you for getting your medal. So we can't continue on, mate, without medals.
Sounds legit. Yeah, well, that sounds almost like a wrap up then.
But that's it, mate.
Sounds like we've covered everything that happened this week.
On to next week.
No other game news, is there? No other games have been doing anything?
Nah, I've just been playing Gran Turismo 3. That's about it.
True.
Just some old classics.
Did have a friend asking me if I'd been playing old classic Gran Turismo games, because he's had his YouTube filled with old Gran Turismo games. So I'm assuming that's you. So
that must be me. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else that YouTube would be flaunting.
Just Jad playing his what's that he got? He's got Gran Turismo 4 going on the PC. Loving it. PC Live. That's
probably
Jad.
The number one reason that would get me over to a PC. Actually, I can't think of any other reason that I would go just to play classic Gran Turismos.
Yeah, we've lost Jad.
R.I.P.
See you, buddy.
F in the comments.
Yep.
All right, mate. Peace out.
See you, bud.